Good evening. We, the unwilling, led by the unknowing, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little. We are now qualified to do anything with nothing.
We absolutely relate.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth in that statement, unfortunately.
There is. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of He said, she said. I still can't get this right, Michael. Riding shotgun with me as every Wednesday, Michael Lauber. How's it going, Michael?
Just another day in paradise over here, as always. A little chillier than I'd like, but hey, spring will get here soon enough.
Did you get any snow? We got a little, like a dust of a snow last night, but nothing today.
Yeah, I got nothing to speak of last night. We had a few flurries today, but I don't think any of it stuck around.
Oh, is that what you call it? Flurries? I call them dust because it looks like dust.
Pretty much. Yeah, Connor was all excited, and I think he's depressed now. He's laying out there in the hallway on the floor, and he wants some more snow to run around in again.
Oh, he loves the snow. I don't know. I mean, I know, as you said, he's technically a coat with four legs, but I don't know how he can love that much of snow. It's too much snow.
Pretty much. Yeah, he's basically a four-legged mop.
Yes. Okay, we have a lot to get to, but let me open the chat here. Let's do a quick shout out to everybody. We are live on X America News on Rumble, YouTube, X, and we are also live on my Facebook page. So we're not all over the place anymore. We're in like X America News everywhere except my Facebook. Are we gonna get a Facebook page for X America, Michael?
We probably need to. I should probably set one up or have Derek set one up. Because, yeah, you know, if it's going to open back up and they're going to be less in the censorship camp, we might as well take advantage of it. Bring the fight to the enemy's digital battlefield.
Agreed. And I would say they are definitely not less censoring people. I can tell you because I'm very active on Facebook. Probably, I'll tell you what. It's 7:03 p.m. Eastern time right now. Around 11:30, my people get notification that we were live.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or
yeah.
some have told me they get days later, not a day, a days later notification that we were live. I'm like,
yeah. Well, there's certain people I follow, the same thing, where you don't get any message on time. Like Will Johnson, I never get notifications for his streams anymore, even though I follow him and click the little thing to make it priority. But yeah, same thing. I don't ever get the notifications.
Agreed. So anyways, as always, you are part of this program. So hop on the chat, comment section, wherever you are. I'll see them. We catch them. We talk to you. You talk to us. All the good stuff that's happening. But we have a lot to cover, actually. It was okay. First of all, Michael, this morning, I thought it's Thursday, but then I realized, wait, it's Wednesday, therefore tomorrow is not Friday, therefore I'm in a very bad mood.
Yeah, you know, it happens to me. Ever since I got back from Belgium, I've had like difficulty keeping track of what day of the week it is. And same thing, I thought it was Thursday at first. I almost set up for the wrong guest this morning, but luckily I did catch that in time.
Yes, and it's been a busy, extremely, I know we have had busy news weeks since pretty much election, but this week seemed to be, it's been so busy on the news, I should say life events, that I feel like we should be on Friday right now, but it's only Wednesday. However, we have a lot of things to get to between my gathering, your gathering, but there is no way there's a talk about Ilhan Omar somewhere in the show, and it's not the first talk, because we need to kick it off with Ilhan. Now, you have sent me something, but before we go to what you sent me, let's go to this. There's a chain of X or tweets that was going on, and again, shout out to Derek Evans, one of the pages I follow, and you should too. Derek Evans is like awesome. And his you know what's the most awesome thing about Derek Evans' page, Michael, is the fact that he does not censor himself, and he is not shy to go after anybody.
Oh, exactly. It's anybody needs a stern talking to. It's Ilhan Omar. Yes. But really what she needs is deported, but that's a whole other story.
Here, let's put this up. So this is the tweet. I saw the original tweet on Ilhan Omar. Following it into this page is basically claiming that, Daily Mail put out the evidence. Here it is. sister brother marriage, all that is proven. Not that we were doubting it, right? It's there. We know.
Yeah.
And then basically, there's a tweet of, no post from Ilhan tagging Ilhan on both her pages of personal and Congress. Since this was confirmed to be true, this kind of came out, and I mean, I know you knew that this is true, right? But got Ilhan Omar's attention somehow. And Ilhan, now I did this a little bit longer of a screenshot because I want to get your attention to Ilhan's response and then Derek Evans' response below that. The response from Derek Evans to Ilhan is the funniest part. But how dare Ilhan, retweet that tweet by saying, the only thing that is confirmed is your stupidity. Hope that helps. Now, of course, at the bottom we have Derek Evans saying, shut the F up, Ilhan. Both you and your husband/brother should be deported. Amen to that. Every word. Amen to thank you, Derek. Yes. But laugh aside, where are we with our immigration, Michael? So we have, yes, we're working on closing the border, deporting the illegals, but then we both know there are many who have committed immigration fraud to come in pretending to do it the right way. When are we going to get them? Now, I'll let you take over because you have a story to add to this hypocrisy and double standard due to your show this morning with Derek Evans. The insurrection this morning, you had a guest who's facing immigration persecution, if you ask me, where Ilhan Omar out there, there's I'm just going to say, the balls to retweet somebody's evidence against her to call her stupid.
Pretty much. I'd expect nothing less out of Ilhan Omar, given the her usual state of affairs. But yeah, to go to your earlier question, there's a lot of people, and I know that like some of them are on Homan's radar to go after, like they are going to review every single person that we brought over from Afghanistan. And, I'd like them to start that as soon as possible. But Homan is focusing right now primarily on criminals, people who are already in jail or detention facilities from this wave of 30 million that's coming over the last 4 years. So right now they're still getting kind of set up for that. Now, I will say this, though. The southern border is basically closed at this point. They're hardly picking up anybody trying to cross now. They've got 20,000 people from the military. I think it's 10,000 Army or National Guard and then 10,000 Marines down there. And they're expanding Border Patrol. And they're getting ready to deploy a bunch of these IRS agents that were hired. They're being retasked to Border Patrol, being deputized and sent down to the southern border and going to assist in the deportation flights. But some of it is going to take time, and I do understand that. Now, for the gentleman this morning that we had on, Iliol Rosa, shout out to him. This guy is a J6 defendant and somebody that took the plea deal early, wanted to do the right thing, and he is a legal immigrant to the United States. Immigrated here, I think, around between 5 and 6 years ago. Sorry, I don't remember exactly when. But he was given legal status here just prior I think 2 years prior to January 6th. So he should be getting sworn in as a citizen right about now. But basically, because Trump pardoned him and now they don't have any crime or anything else on his profile to hold against him, they just decided that because he didn't beg for forgiveness or, cry at their feet, kiss the ring, however you want to put it, that they would make him and his wife, who was not here or not in the Capitol on January 6th, both have to restart their citizenship process, which means it's going to cost them about another $25,000 to go through the whole thing from beginning to end again for the two of them. So he's trying to raise money for that. But really, what's more important to him is getting somebody.
Let me just interrupt. Guys, I'm going to put a screenshot of his Give Send Go.
Yes.
The name you see there, all you need to do is search that name and you can help him. But go ahead, Michael.
Yeah. And it's US. Yeah, I think it's USA Citizenship is how you search for it on Give Send Go. But what we're trying to do is get him in contact with somebody from the Trump administration that'll be overseeing USIS, the immigration services, because this is literally a matter now of just getting a supervisor, somebody with a little bit more authority to override this previous decision. There's no reason for it. This guy is believe it or not, his job prior to immigrating to the U.S. was to go around the world and teach people about the U.S. Constitution and our Declaration of Independence. He's also a pastor. He's just a great guy, extremely smart. He holds a doctorate in, I want to say, sociology. But he's from Brazil originally. He's traveled to, I think he said, 32 countries, bringing this message out, the message of freedom, explaining to people why our system of government here was inspired by God and what makes us the freest nation on earth. I mean, his heart really is in the right place. He's completely getting screwed just because there's a bunch of leftists running this immigration service that want to punish him for having the audacity to go there and protest the 2020 election and show up on January 6th to support the other patriotic Americans that he's bonded with over the last several years.
Yeah, and the messed up part is today when you told me after your show, I actually asked if we could book him for next week. I'll be sitting in for Dr. James Glazoff, so I figured it would be a great discussion for the Glazoff gang based on the fact of, now, one example we just gave you, it's Ilhan Omar, right? She has clearly committed immigration fraud, and there are many other who do it. But they get to keep their citizenship and life. And then we have this person, which when you told me, by the way, is what he did as his work before coming to America, my mind was blown away. I'm like, wow. Here's the thing. Within immigration laws, he has a pardon, okay? He doesn't have... So basically, the only way your citizenship, by the way, is they cannot reset your file. It's called freeze. They can freeze the process for 3 years if between green card and becoming a citizen, if you commit a misdemeanor, class B or up, or felony. Now, with a felony, a judge can just revoke your right to citizenship. That is there. You'll never become a citizen. However, they cannot, under no circumstances in immigration law, can they tell you to go start from scratch. This right there, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're attaching it to his wife. I mean, what does she have to do with this?
Nothing. And it is something I mentioned to him off air, is I imagine what they did to his wife is probably unlawful, and he probably has grounds for a lawsuit there, which he was already aware of. But, it doesn't fix the problem. Now, because he came in on an asylum visa due to political persecution from the corrupt courts in Brazil, they can't kick him out of the country. He hasn't broken any laws or anything like that. But what they can do is freeze the process, and he can't leave and go anywhere. Like you mentioned there, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who the relative was, but he has a relative dying back in Brazil that he wanted to be able to go see before they passed away. But neither he or his wife can leave, or they won't be readmitted to the country. Now, ironically, they did give his infant son, who was born just before they immigrate, or I guess not an infant anymore, but who was born just before they moved here from Brazil. They did give him his green card, so he's now can be a citizen in the next few weeks, but neither of his parents.
So here's the thing. As you know, I came here with the I-94 visa as well, which is a asylum, a visa that never expires. However, it's just a visa. And actually, that's why I cannot be deported either. Not that I'm planning to do anything crazy, but even if they frame me like they frame J6ers, they can't deport me. Anyone who comes in with an I-94 visa, they're permanently staying in America. However, it could be as bad as losing your green card. I know someone who came here as asylum, but all the way losing his green card because he kept repeating felonies over and over involving drugs, to where they can't kick him out of the country, but losing down to green card, he basically has no rights in the country. Yeah, he can have I guess the felonies would take most of the rights away from him anyways. However, my point is, it's funny you say that, because when you come in with the I-94 visa, within the first 3 years of your existence in America, if you meet all requirements, you will automatically automatically receive your green card. After that, it could be 3 to 5 years eligibility for your citizenship, depending on your job, your tax situation, your criminal background, all of that. Now, this is a process I've gone through, right? But for them to have him start from scratch, worse, for his wife to start from scratch while their kid is holding a green card, this whole thing is so wrong in so many ways as far as our asylum immigration situation goes that, I mean, I don't know. I can think of 5 lawyers right now in my own head who can pick up the phone and make 2 calls and get his case going. I might even call him and put him in touch with these lawyers. Point is, the boldness of corruption, every single crack in the wall of immigration. A lot of people are so worried, and I acknowledge the need for the concern of the illegals and the border. But while we're at it, we might as well clean house and fix up all these errors too.
Yeah. Well, I want to mention one last thing with Eliel before we move on. Is this is also somebody in the time he's been here has done enough work, enough charity work through his church. He's also a pastor, by the way. That the city of Odessa, Texas, actually honored him with he now has a day on the calendar of Ilya Rosa Day to honor him in Odessa for all the work he's done with the charity, the church, and everything else for the city. So this is somebody that's been here a very short time and made a pretty big impact in his local community. And this guy came here. He's passionate about it. He loves America. He's the kind of person we want to bring here, just like you, somebody that'll come here and make our country a better place and really understands the value of the rights and the Constitution that we have and how important that is and the protection it offers us that you don't have in a lot of other countries around the world.
True. On Facebook, SJ Bender says, late to the show, who are we talking about? Well, we were talking about Ilhan Omar committing immigration fraud and leaving life freely. And this gentleman who has done nothing and his entire green card, citizenship, future life in America is at risk. And Dan Dreyer on Rumble, ex-America News Rumble. Hey, Dan, good evening. I did not know that. Dan says he was the only foreign J6er, a true patriot.
Yes. Yeah, he's the only person who was still technically a foreign national. I do know there's at least one or two others that were naturalized U.S. citizens that were there. I don't know if any of them want their information out publicly, but yeah, he was the only person that was in the process of immigrating here, because I guess he was not even a lawful permanent resident. He was still a asylum seeker. I'm not even sure what the term would be for it. Yeah, he's the only person there, and they really came down on him unnecessarily.
Of course. I'm sorry. Let me see if I just lost your audio, so I wasn't sure if it's me or it's you.
Well, it happens to the best of us.
Yes, it was me. Yeah, cats are, as always, down here pulling and pushing, so one of them pulled my headphone. Anyhow, yeah. Since we're talking about Ilhan Omar, let's not skip the next part. Let me put this up. You sent this to me. So, you tell us what's up. I know she's fuming, because she's always fuming, but why is she fuming this time?
Yeah, that's par for the course. Ilhan Omar fumes at Trump's discriminatory resettlement offer to persecuted white South Africans. So this is a story that's starting to gain some traction because obviously, Elon Musk is from South Africa originally. So I think he's kind of whispered in the ear of Trump and Vance to put some pressure on the South African government. And they've gone from apartheid, which was wrong, to now persecuting the white farmers, the Boer, who are still there, taking their land. A lot of them are being murdered. So they said they may offer a refugee resettlement program for the Boer farmers in South Africa that are being discriminated against and persecuted there. And 17,000 took Trump up on the offer, I guess, filed the paperwork or whatever, they get the ball rolling to potentially relocate to the United States and leave the persecution in South Africa. But Ilhan Omar doesn't like that. She thinks that this is racist, offering them a path out, despite the fact that the Biden regime left the doors open for anybody, including rapists, murderers, terrorists, Chinese spies, military-age men, for 4 years. The fact that somebody like this that really is in need of an outlet, somebody's a legitimate reason to leave there due to political persecution and racism, but because they're white, you can't have that. I apparently that excuse for the need for resettlement only applies to people who are not white.
So, by the way, guys, this headline or article can be found on Gateway Pundit. Go find it. But so let me get this straight. So if this was, well, two questions. if Biden did this, would she still be fuming? Because here's the thing, I'm not sure if this is necessarily about the white aspect. I think this is about Trump doing it.
It's probably both. I don't know. I don't know if she would still be fuming about it or not, or even if she didn't like it, she'd probably bite her tongue and not say something that was Kamala Harris or Biden that opened the door for these asylum seekers out of South Africa. But yeah, you're
Bingo.
right. She probably would have kept her mouth shut then. But now, she's going to try to paint it as racist. Oh, well, Trump only wants to take in the white refugees. Now, it isn't really about that. I mean, these people are literally being targeted and murdered by the government.
Yeah, and um, as you know, I have my own issues and opinion and all that stuff about what's happening with the new administration. None of them urgent enough for me to come out guns blazing yet. Take that as a warning. but but I can't help but to think when I was trying to figure out what we're going to talk about and create the title and description, I'm like, it is so sad that at this point, a lot of these, I won't even call them leftists because, like with Ilhan, she's Islamist.
Yeah.
Rashida is Islamist. Their leftism has nothing to do. Honestly, at this point, it doesn't have anything to do with it. Or what is that one? Presley. She's a socialist.
Yeah.
Or AOC, for that matter. They're socialist. So I won't even say these leftists. I will say these anti-Americans. No matter what comes out of White House today, they will one way or another hate on it. They will try to stop it, delay it. Like we were talking about earlier, a lot of these confirmations should have happened 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. But you're right. They're playing games. They're using political maneuvers to slow things down because they don't have the votes to stop these people. And again, they know it's the will of the American people to get a lot of these nominees through. That's the one thing I'll give CNN credit for over the last few weeks. My boy Harry Enton over there, he loves his polls, and he does tell the truth. And they got a few of them over there, and I don't think Enton's real happy about it, but he does speak the truth. He's told them a bunch of times that like RFK Jr., there is a majority of people across the United States, including not a majority of Democrats, but a decent number of it. I think the number on his was 63 or 64%. And then Tulsi Gabbard was the opposite. She might have been 63 or 64. But anyway, like people want them in office. They want RFK Jr. to go in and clean up all the corruption within our healthcare system. All the dirty money that goes back and forth, the favors done for pharmaceutical companies, the back and forth for all their employees, and the fact that they won't look into or really regulate them as they're supposed to. That instead it's looked at as more of a partnership. We're tired of chemicals in our food and the other just nonsense that's gone on there for decades now. And they fear him coming in has aligned a lot of the undocumented Democrats in the Republican Party and all the people that have taken all this money from the healthcare industry, from big pharmaceutical companies and whatnot against them. But, we're tired. We don't want to be their guinea pigs anymore. We want change. Same with Tulsi. There's a lot of things I don't agree with her on, but she does have a few good points. I think we're going to get more in depth with her later, but same thing. The American people support her going in to these intel agencies and cleaning things out, straightening them up, and exposing a lot of the spying and illegal, targeting. That's the word I was looking for. Targeting that's gone on with American citizens, whether that's J6 defendants or even her. She got put on the Quiet Skies list and extra scrutiny at the airport because she spoke out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about somebody, she used to run the Democrat Party, and look what they're doing to her now just because she spoke out originally. She stepped down when they screwed over Bernie Sanders in 2016. And she stepped down from the party because she wasn't able to stop it. And now she's gone full on the other direction and left the Democrat Party, become a Republican. I do think she's a little squishy on some issues. I don't want her anywhere near gun control and a few other things. But I do think, she's had a real change of heart, a legitimate change of heart, because of, if for no other reason than how she was treated by the Democrats for just trying to call them out on their own BS.
Hmm. And yes, we will get into Tulsi Gabbard in a minute. But since you brought up two very key point words, American citizens or American people, and whatever it takes, I actually have a clip. I think I forgot to send this to you for your review. If I did, sorry. It's like 23-second of Ayanna Pressley talking. Let's listen to this. You might have seen it, but I wanna talk about this. It's only 23 seconds, but I feel like within that 23 seconds, we can write a book about who she is and where she stands. So here we go.
Look, let me tell you something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress. But they are not serious.
Anyone who's willing to put the work into censoring American citizens and help the progress.
Yeah, I can't tell if she let the mask slip there or not, because nobody behind her reacted either. You would have at least expected, the guy or the other woman to her left and right to have looked at her and, what the hell did you just say? But no, I mean, they know it. The only way they got as far as they did over the last 4 years was due to this, censorship industrial complex, controlling social media, controlling our media, and then ignoring half the country. Or worse than ignoring, literally censoring them and censoring the message.
Yes, and that's what I mean by the boldness from Ilhan to Presley to AOC, and again, a lot of people, every time I say AOC, they're like, "Oh, she's dumb." She's not dumb. She's playing dumb. She knows where her role is. Does she have a puppeteer? Absolutely. Are these ideas her own? Absolutely not. Does she know what she's repeating? No, but she's not dumb. She was given the role to play dumb, but she's part of their plan.
Yeah, she certainly isn't stupid. She says some dumb things sometimes, and she does run her mouth and talk about things that she has no idea about sometimes, so she comes off as stupid. But I don't think she's a stupid person. There's other people in Congress that are, borderline retarded, like what was his name? The guy that just did the first impeachment charges. This is the guy that thought Guam was going to flip over. Like, that's somebody that's stupid. AOC is not dumb. She is not as well spoken as I think she'd like to be sometimes. She does put her foot in her mouth sometimes, but she knows exactly what she's doing. And again, like you said, she's very good at keeping her base, her merry band of psychopaths together. She can rake in donations. She's going to stay on the ballot. Doesn't matter who runs against her in her district, because she's a national face. But yeah, she's not an idiot. That's for sure.
Yes, quick shout out to William from Kentucky on Facebook. Roger Shetty on Facebook says absolutely an official secret policy of the Democrat Party. Exactly. But you know what? I'm going to step it up. At this point, I don't know if it's... First of all, I don't know if Democrat Party even exists today, Michael. It feels like they kind of... like they were taken apart into the socialist Democrats, which is the older school Democrats, the socialists, and then we have the red-green axis Democrats. It's like, as one, I just don't see them existing. Do you?
No, not in the traditional sense. I wish I could remember who it was that said this the other day. I had on over the weekend. It was a stand-up comedian, but they basically said anybody with common sense has already left the Democrat Party. And then in his case, he was talking about Tulsi Gabbard and now like people like Joe Rogan, even President Trump. He was a Democrat for a long time. That they've just gone so far off the deep end that there's nobody left that was there originally. Instead, you just have these people that are, got brainwashed through college. Now they're your little Democrat Socialists of America, your other like total moonbats, like the trans people and all that. And then, your Islamists, your red-green axis, your real hardcore communists that want to destroy the country. And then probably just, some people from random mental institutions that were closed down. I'm sure they're there too.
Exactly. Rhonda Crow on Facebook. Hello, and thanks for joining us. By the way, it's quick. I have realized when we're on air, being me and you, Michael, we really neglect shout outs and, doing the proper things. We are live on Rumble, YouTube, and X. The handle you can find is X America News. Simply X America News. We're also live on my Facebook page. So if you're not on a Rumble, head over to Rumble, subscribe or follow the X America News Rumble page. We're trying to build things over there. As you have noticed, the last few weeks of us doing the He Said, She Said show, we're not running ads. So maybe we should start running ads. We're trying not to run ads so we can talk more, especially me because I love to talk, as you know.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
But we do need your support, and there's a free way to support us, which is helping us build up our X account, our Rumble account, under X America News. So head over, subscribe, send the link to your friends, and all the usual regular stuff that happens all the time. So back to Presley. One last thing I want to say. Um, boldness. They are at a point where they're flat out telling us. They're flat out telling us. You know why? Because they know that, first of all, they have handed over such a disaster to the new administration that these kind of talk will slip away. Nobody's going to pay much attention to you because there's so much, other crap to be cleaned up. And secondly, at this point, they have nothing to lose. I said this before the election. I said, there's only one way to know if Trump is still Trump or now a politician, because he's got one term left to do anyways. He's got nothing to lose at the end of these 4 years. There's no rerunning. There's no recampaigning. So from day one until the end of it, he'll show us the truth. And the same thing applies to the squad and the socialists and all of them, because at this point, Michael, they really have nothing to lose. They are considering or taking it into consideration that Trump might seriously do a purge and clean house, and in that case they're going to go down. So they're bluntly standing there. Again, when I saw this originally, when I heard it for a second, I was sad that it didn't shock me that she said that. That is terrible.
Yeah, that's I hadn't thought about it like that. But one other thing that has come to mind is we've seen Presley and the others leading these protests out in front of the Department of Treasury. They told numerous blatant lies, and there wasn't even the slightest effort from anyone in our dinosaur media to correct them. And again, your average person is starting to notice this. That's the other reason their power is diminishing after going through this last election cycle. The way things were with the deck blatantly stacked against President Trump and for I already forgot her name. So Kamala Harris, being pro Kamala Harris and anti-Trump constantly. People began to see through that facade. Not to mention, again, they'd call her out or would never call her out in any lies. And Trump, they couldn't wait to twist something to fact check it in a dishonest way. But the average person's eyes are opening. I don't think their grift is really effective anymore, except with the people that are already have their blinders on and are firmly in their base. I just don't think it's going to work, and it's part of why we're seeing them react like this. Like a vampire to sunlight. They're being exposed. All their little dirty secrets are coming out. All the money laundering that's gone on with our tax dollars, and even people in their own base are getting upset about it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just going to say that, support for the Democrat Party is now at an all-time low. And President Trump's support keeps getting up higher and higher and higher. I think he's up to about either 57 or 59% now, depending on which poll you want to read. And a lot of this is simply because he's doing the things he promised to do while he ran. And he's exposing all their dirty little secrets. USAID was just the beginning. Wait till we start getting in the Pentagon money and the money that's funneled through the state.
Well, since you brought that up, here, let me put this up. Another report that you said. Let's have a good laugh at this one.
Oh, yeah. This is pure insanity. The wife of the judge blocking Trump administration is USAID grant recipient. Judge John Bates ordered the president to restore sex change and gender ideology websites. Now we learn that his wife, Carol Reyes, is the founder of Hope for Children in Ethiopia, a long-term recipient of USAID funding. I mean, this is unbelievable. And the fact that, you know, a shout out to Amuse over on X. Again, if you're not following her, you should be. She's very, very smart, pulls a lot of these stories up. Um, but anyway, like doing the job the mainstream media refuses to do, you know, something I'll give Elon Musk infinite credit for. He said, you're the media now, and he's exactly right about that. Our mainstream media is not doing their job. It's up to us to find, report, and spread the word on things like this, because we're certainly not going to hear it from these dinosaurs in DC, in Washington, or sorry,
No,
in DC, New York.
exactly. And that's the thing. It's again, I have reached a point in my life that apparently nothing surprises me anymore. Like, oh, of course, somehow this judge has something to benefit from blocking President Trump, which
No.
this whole blocking thing of judges on its own, I feel like it's the topic of a 3 hour roundtable of 7 of us just sitting there talking about all of this charade of judges getting involved with some of these executive orders or not. I'm like, is it just me? Or the judges, I have heard a lot from the left or even independent or some Republicans and conservatives that, they have these concern of we're giving way too much power to Elon Musk, who wasn't elected, right? And in a way, I agree with them. It's a different topic for a different show. But when I hear that, I'm like, wait, why is nobody talking about how much power these judges are holding?
Well, yeah, and we should be, because some of what they're doing is blatantly unconstitutional, like preventing Elon Musk and Doge from going into the Treasury. You know, it's very clearly stated in Article 2 that part of the president's duties is not just distributing funds issued by Congress, but ensuring that's in alignment with our policy, and also in auditing it to ensure that our money isn't being wasted, we're not being defrauded, and the money is going to the causes that it's supposed to. So, and there have been other cases that have gone up to the Supreme Court regarding this. So, I mean, this is something, again, that luckily the Trump's team is very prepared. Pam Bondi sort of laughed this off in an interview she did on Fox, I think, last night. So she already cited these cases. They already knew this was coming. So these decisions by these judges are going to get smacked down, but they're just going to do it again. And, what really pissed me off about the whole thing is when it was reversed, when it was Biden, you literally had people and it's telling him, oh, you should just ignore the Supreme Court. It's not like they have an enforcement mechanism. Go ahead and forgive all these student loans. Do whatever you want. But now we're doing things that are blatantly unconstitutional. And these judges know better than to make the ruling. So thank God Eli Crane has filed articles of impeachment for at least one of these judges. And I think somebody else today filed articles of impeachment for another one. And I'm sorry, I don't remember which rep that was.
Oh, good. Since you said that, we have a video of AOC saying exactly what you just said they said. Here.
There has been thought, I believe, given to this. Senator Ron Wyden has already issued statements, for example, advising what we should do in a situation like this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. I think that the courts have the legitimacy and they rely on the legitimacy of their rulings. And what they are currently doing is engaged in an unprecedented and dramatic erosion of the legitimacy of the courts. It is the justices themselves, through the deeply partisan and unfounded nature of these rulings, that are undermining their own enforcement.
So you're saying the Biden administration should ignore this court, but what does that look like? What does that actually mean?
I think the interesting thing when it comes to a ruling is that it relies on enforcement. And it is up to the Biden administration to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
But
Okay, I'll admit, she does sound very dumb when she talks. She tried. She was trying so hard to be very intelligent. But anyways, who am I to say that? But there you go, right? Biden should just ignore the judge or judge ruling.
Yeah, she sounded like somebody gave her the right talking points, and then the little monkey with the symbols in her brain confused them partway through. So she just couldn't quite get it out right. Like, she touched on a few of the bullet points, but not enough for it to actually make sense.
She reminds me of me when somebody gives me a script. I'm like, I can't read English. No, just leave it alone. Okay, go.
Yeah, give me the bullet points and I'll remember. Trust me, it'll be better that way. But yeah, when it's student loan forgiveness, something they want, then yeah, just ignore the courts. It's, and she's not wrong about this. It is up to the executive branch to do enforcement. That's why they're there. However, part of that is a duty, especially when it comes to the U.S. Supreme Court, to execute their decision, whether you like it or not, or whether you agree with it or not. If you don't agree with it, you can fight your way back up and maybe take another crack at things, but you still have to. If we don't honor the court decision, our republic falls apart. But at the same time, when you have these corrupt judges that are clearly overstepping their bounds and making rulings on things where either, like this judge in particular that we just talked about, ordered Trump to put back up web pages with sex change information on it that were on government websites. The judge does not have the power to do that. The legislature or somebody else wants this stuff up there, they can reauthorize it and do things through proper legal channels. Otherwise, President Trump is the executive. That means he is in charge of these things right now. If he doesn't want that up there on our websites, well, guess what? Sorry, it's gone.
And Rhonda on Facebook has a brilliant idea. I love it. And I suggest we ignore you, AOC.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm game. I do actually, Rhonda, ignore AOC a lot. Until it's hard to ignore her. I mean, seriously. Sometimes it's one of those moments of, I can't ignore this. No, I can't. So, but I like what Rhonda thinks we should ignore AOC. And many others. There was okay, so I wanted to actually, a little far from the topic, but what's new? I jump all over the place, especially when my cat is trying to kill me by ripping my arm off. Emma, go away. Seriously. Go that desk. Remember, this is my desk. That's your desk. There we go. I was so and this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna say it. Normally, on the side of right side of aisle, it's like, the leftist actors and actresses come out, or singers, and say things. And normally what you hear from the right is like, you get paid to act, go do that. Nobody needs your opinion. Which I actually disagree with. We all have opinions, it's an opinion. Yeah. Now somebody's platform is bigger, good for them. Like if one person can come out, an actor or actress, and say something that would persuade their audience, well, they have a platform. So on that, I want to say I disagree. Now, one thing newly I have noticed, which is hypocrisy a little bit, Mel Gibson, who's an actress, and I would say a very good a very good actor with a very delightful resume of acting, is now somehow the superstar of the right, and apparently is supposed to go fix Hollywood somehow. I don't know how, but good for him. But the hypocrisy I want to talk about, which is unpopular opinion, is now the right is okay with some actor having an opinion and pursuing people and be a talking head. Because I disagree with when they tell the left to shut up, I disagree with saying shut up to Mel Gibson too. I have nothing against the guy. Good for him. But these are the little tiny reasons that I walked away from the Republican Party, to be honest with you. We cannot tell the left to zip it and then go find someone on the right in the same position who says things we like and bring him on a stage and say, you're great. And everybody should say what you say. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, I get where you're going. And I guess I always look at it like this. I'd rather have most of these people show us how stupid they are and open their mouth, and then I just know not to support their films or movies or anything else. I vote with my wallet. If they're going to be complete tools and support things I'm against, well, I don't have to watch their films or buy their CDs. I guess the one part where I do differ are some of the ones that we now know where they were paid to say certain things, like, and forgive me, I'm on the lady's name, but the one that's the lead singer from Paramore, where the footage emerged afterwards of her reading her endorsement of Kamala Harris off of a bunch of cue cards, and then finding out, now after the FEC filings, that she was paid $100,000 or $250,000 or whatever it was to do it. Like, those are the ones that I think are just total hypocrites, because the only reason they're doing anything is because somebody brought the cheddar. But yeah, Mel Gibson, whoever's saying their political opinion, that's fine. Now I know they're stupid. That's how I look at it. Or in Gibson's case, he's made a few points, and his job is to go out there and try to reform Hollywood, get more movies that are with good Christian moral values that aren't just a lot of the trash that we see out of Hollywood now. And get them to stop remaking movies from the last 50 years. It's time for something new. But yeah, the hypocrisy, and you're always going to have that. You're always going to have both parties are going to have certain elements that are that contain this level of hypocrisy. But I don't know. I guess I just don't lose too much sleep over it.
Yes, I don't lose the sleep over the actors, actresses, singers, but here's where I do lose the sleep. And I know we're on the same page on this one. When the politicians on the right either do the wrong thing or don't stop the wrong thing from going forward and happening, and the people of the conservative or Republican side look the other way and don't call them out.
Yeah.
That's where I lose sleep, Michael. Because I feel like the Uni Party wouldn't get as strong as it has if more conservatives or Republicans would publicly call them out, petition them, pick up the phone, email them, I don't know, whatever your style is. That is where the hypocrisy has caused us Americans a lot of damage in our government. I might be wrong, but that's how I feel.
No, you're not wrong. And I think there's a lot of that could go on that doesn't. And I think both sides are kind of guilty of this to a certain extent as well. That they, if they see it as somehow benefiting them or saying something about a hypocrisy would hurt them, that they're more likely just to keep their mouth shut and not say anything at all. And both sides do that because it's the easy way out.
Yeah, but listen, we can't expect Democrats or liberals to say anything because they're part of the destruction. Of course, they're not going to say anything when their elected officials are doing the wrong thing because that's part of the plan.
Yeah.
So for us to not do anything, I'm an independent, but as an American, we're supposed to do the right thing. As Christians, we're supposed to tell the truth. And now, don't get me wrong, I will say a lot more people are openly speaking out now. I think based on the safe zone of knowing Trump administration is not going to, knock their door down and point a gun at their baby's crib. I don't know if you've seen that video of the FBI raid of the January 6th that came out recently, that this female FBI agent literally is pointing her gun inside the crib with their baby in it.
What, in case the kid had like a Glock 19 under his pillow?
Right? And I'm like, the fact that she's not suspended, arrested, investigated, anyways, that's a whole different topic of Cash Patel. I pray, as you know, I have not been so crazy about most of the nominees, not because I have anything against them. It's just I either don't know them or I'm Cash Patel is the one that I've been dying to see confirmed.
Yeah. Well, and they're terrified because he's got the votes to get through, because I think Fetterman's going to go get behind him because he couldn't find anything negative. Again, he's been in the position before, so he's got the votes. But yeah, they're trying to delay that as long as they can. I don't even know when he's up now. I think they pushed it off another week. It's either like Thursday or Friday of next week now before they're even going to bring it up for. Did you know they tried to get out of voting for Tulsi Gabbard and that vote to get RFK out of the committee here today for a floor vote tomorrow, but because it snowed in DC.
Oh, come on.
Talking, yeah, it's like an inch of snow. It might be a little more than that. I haven't checked it all day. But yeah, because it was going to snow today, they've tried to use that as an excuse to delay it yet another day to get Tulsi Gabbard across the finish line.
Of course they did. Honestly, again, we do have about 10 minutes, and I would like to get into Tulsi Gabbard in literally a minute, but the rest of them, again, I have so many questions, so many doubts, but with Cash Patel, I knew it. I think Cash Patel's hearing was the only one that I watched the whole thing. And I'll tell you what, the whole time I'm like, you get him.
Exactly.
Go get him. That's my boy. It was so intensely amazing. And, I don't get carried away with one person. But with Cash, it's just the guy showed up. The guy showed up ready. The guy showed up polite, but extremely sarcastic, which I like about Cash Patel. It was like they thought they gonna grill him. He ended up making them sweat, and I love it. And that's why I can't wait for him to get in. because we both know how badly our FBI is. And I said from day one, if there was one person who would go in there and not mess around, it's Kash Patel, and that is why they're delaying him.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Yeah, Kash Patel means business. He knows where the bodies are buried. If you guys haven't read his book, Government Gangsters, pick it up. It's a great read. You'll be through it before you realize it. And yeah, I know he's been coordinating things with a number of people behind the scenes, even leading up to now. He knows where the bodies are buried. He knows who to go after. And keep in mind, like, just how corrupt our FBI is. This warning to illegal aliens in the LA area came from someone within the FBI, someone in federal law enforcement that has to know by doing this, they're putting ICE agents in harm's way. But they don't care because there's too many of them there that are there for purely political reasons. They're not there to serve the Department of Justice and serve the American people. They're there to use their power to enact their political wishes.
Yes, quick shout out to Josh on Rumble chat. It's okay. He apparently forgot it's Wednesday. Well, you made it. And thanks for your contribution. And thanks for reminding me. Guys, on X America News Rumble channel, and we really need you to go over there to X America News Rumble channel. We need you to subscribe. And I mean, genuinely, we need you to do that. Don't swallow your microphone. We need you to do that. Apparently, I'm hungry. But Josh just did it, so I remembered that our X America News Rumble chat now has the rant, which means you can actually contribute to a solo show with $1, $2, $5, $20. Hey, you got 1,000, we take it. But you can actually send us gifts in a form of cash, and Rumble will deduct a very tiny portion and give us the rest of it. So please do reach in your pockets and send money. Yes, I'm a producer. Michael's a producer. That does not mean this 1 hour show is cost free. Believe it or not, it's not. It does have cost. Because, oh, Lord have mercy.
The images jump up on the table or on your desk. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. I had a heart attack. Okay, you feel better.
We've got some plans with Rumble. We're trying to kind of consolidate things down over there, bring everybody to one channel instead of the several we were streaming to. And we're trying to become a Rumble partners. But in order to do that, we need at least 1,000 subscribers on the one channel. I know a lot of you are probably already subscribed to both of us on different platforms. But if you can, please go to the X America News Rumble channel and subscribe. We're trying to get over that 1,000 mark as quick as possible. You know, both of us have plenty of followers on other channels, but we need them there because that's the one we're going to try to grow, because it'll help not just us, but all the other people who are on X America News, like Steve Friend, Garrett O'Boyle, Sharona Bishop, Lynn Piper Loomis, and we have many coming soon next week too.
Will Johnson, Shannon Joy,
yep,
Miriam Shaw, Steve Hook, Dr. Jamie Glazoff. I think I got everybody covered.
Yeah, and we got a few more that we're going to be adding next week. We'll just leave those as surprises for now. But this is going to be a home base for everybody, and that'll be a good place. If you subscribe there, you'll get all the updates from everybody that's on X America News.
Yes. Okay, we have 7 minutes, so let's play this video. Guys, I came across this video. I love Trevor Loudon. Love the man. I follow Trevor Loudon. And yesterday, I believe, he put out a podcast. And then he put a 50-second clip of that podcast telling everybody they should go catch it. I saw the clip. Bless you, Michael. I saw the clip. I sent it to Michael and said, you know what? Let's talk about it. So, Michael, let's go take a look at what Trevor has to say. And then me and you close the show with our thoughts on it. Here we go.
NATO is not just a one-way street. America needs NATO. America needs Israel. America needs friends in the South Pacific like Australia and New Zealand. America needs friendships with India and Japan and Taiwan and South Korea. These are all necessary for American supply chains, for American ongoing security. But the Tulsi Gabbard types have used Americans' disgust with the misuse and the no-win of troops and no-win wars to actually push real isolation, real anti-NATO, anti-Israel, which is completely to the benefit of Russia and China and North Korea and Iran, all of which Tulsi has to some degree championed in her recent career.
Okay, I gotta first of all say, the beard look, Trevor, you're rocking it, but it's very unusual for me to look at. I don't think I've ever seen him with beard.
No, no. He still doesn't look at the camera though, which is kind of funny.
He never does. Okay, you go first so I can put Emma down because I think she's going to start pulling cables here. But what are your thoughts on what we just heard from Trevor Loudon?
I disagree slightly on NATO. I don't know that NATO really serves a purpose that is useful to the United States anymore since the fall of the Soviet Union. We've had decades of all of our partners in NATO not living up to their obligations. Trump did get a few countries to step up, back up, meet their obligations during his first term, but I believe they're all back down to not making their contributions again. They've also, worked directly against U.S. interests and really the interests of the world regarding Ukraine. They want war there. They want endless war. They want to go after Russia. I don't think Russia is the good guy in the situation by any stretch of the imagination, but I also don't really think they're our enemy the way some people do now. I think Ukraine is very complicated. It'll take a whole show to go into that. But otherwise, I tend to agree with what he said. And I do think we need to keep a close eye on Tulsi Gabbard, again, given some of her previous positions. When it comes to the American deep state, I think she's more or less in line with Trump, especially since they've gone after her before. But some of her international policy ideas, I'm not so convinced of.
I'm 100% with you on NATO. I am 100% with Trevor on Israel. Stand with Israel. And again, a lot of people, unfortunately, there's such a mess of anti-Semitism going on that people don't understand that genuinely. I disagree with Netanyahu at this time, 99% of things. However, the existence of Israel in the Middle East has protected us way more than American people would acknowledge and understand. But I would say, I agree with you. As you know, I have always been a little iffy about Tulsi Gabbard. I don't doubt her experience. I don't doubt her intelligence when it comes to understanding the deep state. But one thing I will also disagree is she, as much as Russia, yes, but with Iran, she was not necessarily ever a strong supporter. So I don't know if I would include that in there. Like, I wouldn't worry about her ever even imagining any softness towards Iran. I really don't.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Sorry to interrupt, because I wasn't aware of anything like that either, but I thought maybe Trevor knew of something in particular, because he is a very smart guy. He does his research, that maybe he knew something I didn't.
Well, for example, like Tulsi Gabbard wasn't necessarily opposing the Iran deal. She wasn't promoting it. She wasn't lobbying for it, but she wasn't one of those people who were like, what are we doing? So that's where the softness is coming from. That's where the stance referring to is coming from. But I do believe within last 4 or 5 years, she has learned a lot about Iran. I think she has there was a time that she didn't think Iran's regime is necessarily much of a threat. But I think she has learned that now. And the reason I say that is not because I think or imagine. It's some of the times there was one video that I played long time ago on Live Up to Freedom where she's directly asked about Iran, the nuclear program. And she was pretty firm. She said, listen, whatever President Trump decide on that, I'm behind him. You see, she didn't try to have her own opinion about it. And I think that's where Trevor's concern is coming from. She didn't necessarily say I'm against it, but genuinely, she said whatever President Trump thinks is the right thing to do with Iran's nuclear deal or Iran's government. Now, she did refer to them as government, but that's her playing the diplomatic role of official in government.
Yeah.
But she said she'll stand with President Trump, whatever the decision is.
Well, yeah, and her not having much to say about the original Iran deal or even Biden getting back into it. Well, I guess it would only be the original one when she was in office. That could also be, even if she disagreed with it at that time, she was part of that political party, and she probably just thought it was smarter to keep her mouth shut, even if she did say something. But yeah, to your other point, though, I don't possibly see how she couldn't see them for the threat they are today, especially given how many people in her orbit, including President Trump, were on their IRGC hit list, and literally had to have special protection because of the hit squads going around the country trying to knock off Pompeo and what's his name, the warmongering mustache man,
Bolton. John Bolton.
I can never remember that guy's name right now for some reason.
The only reason I always remember his name is because I translated the original Bounty, so the name was there.
Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, and that she's going to. I do think she's somebody that is going to try to enforce the policy and the will that President Trump wants to around the world, as far as that's concerned. But I think her main job is going to be domestic cleanup, and that's really where we need her within these intel agencies. And I don't think she's going to screw Trump or the American people over there, because keep in mind, again, she was a victim of the same thing that Trump and many others were.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Again, I agree with you. I do feel like we need to watch her closely, even within her own little, you know, boundaries of duties. I still think we should, because here's, and this is completely psychology. It has nothing to do with her specifically, but sometimes just because you walked away from a cult or a team or a group or a party doesn't necessarily mean you belong to the other side. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So for that, that's why I have always been a little iffy about her. Her walk away wasn't, it was more of, you did me wrong. It wasn't so much of, I started to see how wrong everything is. It's like, you did me wrong, so I'm going to leave you. So the breakup was a little different. Again, I'm neither saying she's good or bad. I'm just saying I'm right in the middle of the road with her. But we do need to keep an eye on her, and we are going over time. But there's a very, very important question from not one but two people, which is Josh and Dan Dreyer on Rumble, and it's for you, Michael. They need to know who. Hold on. I need to know Mike's supplier of Hawaiian shirts. I need some of these in my life. And Dan says, yeah, he has some nice shirts. So.
Well, the gun shirts that people usually ask about came from a company I was going to get some merchandise for the insurrection done for, but they sent me some free samples, and then the second price they quoted me was just off the charts. I didn't want to be charging people. I mean, just to break even, we were going to have to charge like $63 or something like that for the shirt, and I just thought that was too much. This came from Goodwill, so I don't know where. I'm a big advocate of Goodwill. I'm cheap. This is a $4 shirt. So I wish I could help you, but yes, it came from Goodwill.
Head over to your Goodwill. I am a big, as you know, fan of Goodwill too. And Josh, last question to answer. I don't know. About few minutes into the show, I thought it was my earpiece, but it was Michael's microphone apparently dropping. Josh is saying that your volume is a lot lower than mine, and we'll make sure next time before we get on air we push all the plugs. Maybe Emma just pulled your plug. I don't know. But we'll fix this. You see, this is why we need your help, because, again, I'm a producer, Michael's a producer. But if both of us had a third producer producing the show, this would have been much better. But
I'll make sure I turn my mic volume up a little higher next time. Some of the things you connect with automatically rebalance and adjust. They don't all. So I will turn up my volume next time.
that's the thing. You were good. You know, when I thought it was my headphone that dropped your volume, apparently it wasn't just my headphone. It was your end. But Wirecast is showing me same level as before, so I didn't notice until Josh said, well, okay, we do need to wrap. Wait, yes, we do. Okay. I know nothing about producing, or I would volunteer. Well, we appreciate that. Uh, Okay, Dan wants you to know, Mike. Okay, okay. I'm one comment away from saying get a room, guys. Dan wants you to say the gun shirts are badass series. Badass series. There we go.
Well, I'll make sure, you know what, I'll wear one tomorrow. We got a great guest. Paul Harrell will be joining Derek and I tomorrow. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to go into some of this USAID and other corruption in DC yet again. I will look for another company that will make some of these shirts, because I really like the prints I got before, but I just don't. I feel like a jackass selling them to people at, it'd be $70 with shipping. I just don't feel like. I feel like that's way too high to charge people for a shirt, and that would be with us making like 50 cents a shirt.
Wow.
I'd like to be able to look. Yeah, like the base price was $63 for the shirts I got. Originally, when they quoted me an email, it was half that. It was $33, and I felt like $40 is fair, and that way we were making like $4 on the shirt. then the rest would have gone to shipping. But yeah, I'd feel like a jackass if I had to put something up on a website at $70. That's insane.
Yeah, I don't think that would be very great. Okay, so here's the quick. We're gonna try to remember Rumble, YouTube, X. Matching handles: X America News, X America News on Rumble, YouTube, X. Right now, we're asking everybody to support us on our Rumble channel. So, if you got friends, let them know to come follow the channel. And we have a lot of shows. Monday through Monday, we have shows. So every day, Monday through Friday, you can start your day with Michael Lauber and Derek Evans on the Insurrection at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And then, no, wait. Isn't the Steve Friend before you guys?
Yeah, I think he's at 9:30 Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Yes. Well, this was a Monday. We have some shows that are Monday through Friday, and then every other day we have different shows. Point is, guys, we got a lot of shows. A lot of people, we're all doing this out of our own pockets. We don't have, Soros backing us up.
Not yet, anyway.
Yes, and we are hoping with your support we won't need to go find a Soros who's going to put a gag order on us and say you can only talk about such and such and such. Because right now, honestly, it's a diverse. Michael, seriously, we have a diverse line. Like we have.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have a leftist because I don't think we want to do that, but we have independents like me and Shannon Joy.
Yeah, Shannon.
And then we have hardcore, awesome Trump supporter like Will Johnson coming up. And then we have you and Derek. And I would say your show is the most diverse because you guys touch on everything. Like my show, as you know, it's mainly Islamization. But your show is the most diverse where you talk about everything. Inside America, outside America, Europe, Middle East. And you guys...
Whatever we get our hands on.
Yes.
And, I think like Steve Friend and Garrett O'Boyle, like those guys are experts at what they do. If you guys could see the show notes from Steve's show, it's literally like a CIA briefing. It's 3 to 7 pages on a specific subject every single day. Like this guy does his homework. He thinks he's still writing up case files for people, but that's a good thing because he brings you all the facts. But yeah, to your point earlier, if you got any friends, ask them to sign up. But if you got enemies or people that are leftists and you have access to their device, even better, sign those people up. Have them come follow our show, and maybe they'll learn something. And even if they don't, we can probably send them off to their cry closet when they hear things they don't like.
Very true. And Josh, I wish what you're saying was correct. And I can promise you neither myself or Michael are here to fool anybody at all. We do not have, a stash of content creators, valor, or money. If we did, that would have been great. But I will take this one personally and say that I've been on air doing a show on camera for 10 years now. And Michael could, since you're helping me fool people, I don't think I can use you as a witness, but we don't do this for money. Do we have bills to pay? Yes, we do. Have I actually made enough money from any of my shows to pay my bills? Absolutely not. But that's all right. We'll let it slide because Josh sometimes does cross the line of sarcasm and joking into kind of being out of line. But
yeah,
that's
honestly,
all right.
if I still wanted money, I'd still be in the staffing industry. I took an enormous pay cut coming over here to do this because I thought it was the right thing. I used to make about $350,000 a year. I don't even make a tenth of that now. So
yeah, and I honestly, if I wanted fame and money, well, Michael, as you know, it's still available. All you need to do is look up my name with modeling or acting and red carpets and movies, and well, I would have stayed a model or an actress, and probably joined the leftist cult and still collect millions of dollars.
yeah.
But well, it's not about the money. Neither is it about the fame. If you ask for a race of growth of followers, it's because then that way we can at least offset our cost. If you could look behind what you're seeing in Michael's room or mine, all this equipment that's going on, they're costly. Our electric bill and internet bill is way higher than normal people who don't need a specific type of lighting or a specific type of broadcasting, fiber, internet. So those are where we ask for growth of followers, not because we want to be famous. Actually, with what I do, the more famous I become, the more bounties I'm
Bigger
collecting.
target. Yeah. the bigger targets on your back. Now, I mean, really, the reason we're asking people to sign up to Rumble is because we need to get 1,000 on there to get access to some of the features that they have. And we'd like to be able to get some of our shows on Rumble's homepage sometimes, because I do know in the morning when we had everything consolidated before, we were able to get almost 10,000 people watching on one of the Rumble accounts that we broadcast to, and a few times it ended up on the homepage. That helps us get the reason we're doing this is to get the word out to people. It isn't to become rich. Again, if I wanted to do that, I would have stuck with my old career. But I want to be able to reach as many people as possible and bring them the news the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear.
Amen. And honestly, some of the alternative media does not want you to hear it either. Okay, we got to wrap up. You can join Michael Lauber and Derek Evans tomorrow morning on Thursday, February 13th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on this very channel right here, wherever you are, X, YouTube, or Rumble, right this channel. Bookmark it, follow it, send it to your friends. And me and Michael will be back next Wednesday. In meantime, send your suggestions if you got a video clip you want us to play, or you have a topic you want us to talk about, or you got a funny meme you want us to put on the screen and laugh about. liveuptofreedom@gmail.com. liveuptofreedom@gmail.com. Our admins over there are checking their emails regularly, and if they see any videos, reports, topics from local, state, or federal situations, they will send it to me and Michael. Last words, and you can wrap it, Michael.
Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. Please like, share, and subscribe. We're going to be back again